Welcome to 𝐄𝐓𝐇𝐄𝐑𝐄𝐔. We talk about investing, finance, and professional development. As the current time of 1:12 p.m. on Eastern Time on July 19th on Tuesday, Ethereum could at $1,555, down about 1.64% so far. With respect to over crypto market and the equity market, across the board, I would say it's a relatively kind of a mixed bag, but leaning more towards the upside. Seems like among the macro investor sentiment so far, investors are basically betting that most of the earnings that we're going to be expecting are going to be positive. But in terms of quantitatively, what's the rationale? I would say it's just because the market's been looking for some reason to rebound. Number one, also in a bear market, so the rebound tend to be more robust. But thirdly, because of these, I guess some of the evidentiary support from the previous earnings that we have heard on Monday. Obviously, Bank of America and Goldman Sachs both have, exceeded Wall Street expectation, and also with respect to some of the more resilient consumer retail goods company stocks are also performing, better than expected. And also with respect to some news coming from the Fed, obviously we're working on mitigating the frictions on the supply chain front by working with our allied countries. So that's also another positive news. And some of the main, I guess, earnings that we are anticipating later, after market hour, would be Netflix, knowing the fact that it's one of those FANG stocks. And as you know, Netflix has been falling off the cliff ever since it was like, what, 400 something bucks per share. And now it's like flying off the cliff down like 80% so far. And investors got to be looking for some sort of a guidance, right? With respect to the size of the company, Netflix, right? If we're gonna hear negative signal or negative guidance from the company, it will drive some sort of a sell off across the spectrum. In addition to that, we're also going to be hearing news from Tesla coming out, but not today, right? But I believe it's laying on tomorrow, and also some selective consumer and financial stocks as well that's laying across today. So we'll get some flavor around what's the industry agnostic outlook going forward. And we know, right, with respect to this panic mode slash bear market rally type of feel that we're getting, the pump that we're seeing right now, like verbatim, like some of my subscribers on this channel said this specifically, like this is a pretty I guess foolish pump that we're seeing, with nothing confirmatory. We're basically trading based on historical earnings, but in terms of the tactical outlook of the economy going forward, we still have not solved any problem that we've been trying to solve so far, right? The FOMC meeting is still coming, so with the negative foreshadow that we got from the obviously CPI report and the negative earnings that we got from the banks, despite obviously we kind of speak both sides of the mouth. On Friday it was two negative earnings, but Monday was two positive earnings, both from the financial sector. So it's definitely more murky. But if you dive deeper in terms of understanding where they're coming from, why is it going up or why is it going down, we understand that despite the benefit that two respective banks like Bank of America and Goldman Sachs got benefit from, obviously the rising interest rates, but rising interest rate, for the as a result of them having a better top line revenue generated, is not a good reason for us to feel that the economy is rebounding, right? So I would say the rebound is, I guess it makes sense in a way, but it also doesn't, right? You know what I'm trying to say? So I would definitely be more cautious, right? When people are trying to be very greedy, I would try to stay away, So I think right now, with the fear index relatively high, rebounding the way that we are right now, it doesn't convey a lot of confidence to me, and at least this is not something that give me a lot of fundamental support on this trend going forward. So I'll probably just stay away from like buying around these levels right now. Are we in a reversal? I would say we don't know. I would say we kind of have to like figure out what's the FOMC meeting is gonna look like, as a result for that. And ultimately, you never want to time these type of event driven catalysts. You always want to be buying based on the setup. So let's just dive right into the technical. Despite all of these exogenous factors that we've identified both on the crypto side and the equity side, and on the macro side, and now the political side, we ultimately buy on this setup, right? So with respect to recording time of 1:17 p.m. on the Eastern time, Ethereum traded $1,558, that 1.5% so far. So right now we are in between levels, right? We are basically between 1650 versus obviously 1550. So we are basically at 1550. So I give that benefit of the doubt that we're consolidating on this platform, which is a relatively substantive one, right? But with respect to the setup that we're in right now, you can see that we're quite dragged up, right, at 70 out of 70, and at the same time, we are looking for an apex. So eventually, this mountain is going to come down, right? We basically form like a tippy top of the mountain right now. So looking for some sort of a level off down would be very logical. And at the same time, right now, you could see that we are kind of cooling off on the momentum as well, especially with relatively robot, right? But on a weekly and monthly, again, right, we're quite bullish, right? Number one, weekly wise, you're about to form a golden cross, so that means that we're going to be crossing up weeks out, that we should technically see higher levels from here. And also monthly as well, right? Ideally, we're going to be forming some sort of a golden cross as well, but you still have some room to go down to until we go up, right? So Bitcoin, we could see that we are rebounding, and at the same time, with respect to the monthly, we're still in looking for some sort of plateau, and I think we are slowly forming one. Weekly is quite bullish as well, about to form a golden cross. So as we do that, obviously going to cross up from here. Daily is still showing some signs of weakness, right? Knowing the fact that we're at the 60 out of 70 already, basically blocked from previous level of resistance. Looking for an apex, which we are going to get there soon. You could see that clearly we're matching up with the previous resistance level, and the next level of leap up is going to be a lot, right? We're going to have to go all the way up by $3,000 to 26,500 from here. So do we think we have a shot of doing so? Maybe, but like that's a big stretch, right? So you know, it's up to your risk aversion, knowing the fact that we have been dragging for such a long time now. I don't know if it makes sense to do so, right? And across all the other altcoin, I would say it's quite comparable in terms of affectation, and so is the equity side of the house as well. Like just look at Tesla as an example, you could see that we have been dragged up for quite some time, right? But it's quite stale and flat because of the zigzag that we're forming on a sideways fashion at 50 out of 70. So I think we're just waiting on the earnings coming out for this stock. But weeks and months out, you know, both are quite bullish, I would say. So not terrible buys, you know, at this downturn right now. But ultimately, it's up to your risk aversion, right? All right, so I'm going to head out to the city. So it's my last meeting with you guys. And let me know if you have questions in the meantime, you know. And I appreciate you for dropping by and on this quick lunch break, I guess. And take it easy. Take care. Bye.